New lore. We've talked about the Precursors, their use of technology and possible Vex glass mines, their conflicting ideals on the final shape, and the mind-merging entity hellbent on destruction of all the Traveler has graced. Today, we explore more of this new lore book, specifically the use of the Traveler's power in shaping worlds in what the Precursors called gardens. Do the Precursors themselves have any connections to the Black Garden and also the Garden in the Unveiling? Before we jump in, as always, this video discusses some lore, the Black Garden, and some possible connections with the final shape stuff. There will be some speculation and none of this is straight up confirmed, so leave your thoughts below. I'm going to begin by reading the first couple of pages from the Entelechy lore book. In this, one of the Precursor members arrives at a solar system and begins to terraform it using the powers of the Traveler. I arrived at the Garden to be to find barren rock, as lifeless as the expanse around it, just as the survey said. It's perfect. Rather, it will be perfect. The moment I laid eyes on the allotted system, I knew my initial plans had to go. How inelegant they were, those drafts drawn up in smiling ignorance. Only experience could have cured me of such short-sightedness. Yes, now I can see the path to the summit pyramidian final shape. Here, the Matretta blade leaves. There, the green glass is body blossoms arcing overhead. I have brought enough progenitor material to seed 100 worlds, never mind 5. In time, there will be a grand harvest of panacea from this garden. I'm sure you and your merciful, penitent benefict will be pleased. I could cover these bare rocks with greenhouses, of course. Rows of neat enclosures, lights in just the right spectra, growth solutions mixed to just the right proportions, microclimate domes calibrated within a fraction of a degree. Very neat, very efficient, very boring. After all, that would just be a reflection shard imitation of system R3TN, wouldn't it? And you know I've never had any interest in recreating other people's designs. So just between you and me, here's a little secret. The panacea progenitors weren't all I brought with me. I can hear you scolding me now. But there was so much space in the cargo hold, and, well, to be frank, you're not here to disprove. Besides, if you could see this allotment as I do, see the potential writ in the cracks and crevices of every rock, feel the heart song of their molten cores, you would understand. But you won't need to take my word for it. By the time you can bear to leave work long enough to come visit, my garden will have taken root and grown strong. How lovely it will be to sit together and listen to the wind whistling through the boughs. Perhaps even you will smile. Oh, but I mustn't get ahead of myself. Before any of this can happen, I'll need to prepare. I've unfurled the pergola to capture what I need to weave each planet's atmosphere. The pergola's sails is so vast that I must cross my ship from vertex to vertex to see around the sparkling cloth. It's exhilarating. I've wielded the gardener's tools before, but never at such scale. It feels unfair, honestly. You led the development of such marvels, and yet you're bleeps away, unable to see the culmination of your hard work. I know you claim it doesn't matter to you as long as you know your work is being put to good use, but still, permit me this idle fancy. At this rate, it shouldn't take more than a few centuries before I have enough substrate to work with. And then, well, you'll just have to come and see the summit pyramidian final shape for yourself, won't you? So that entry is very interesting. We've talked about HN and RS before in previous videos. These two are both members of the Precursor species, and they had different ideals of the final shape. HN here from this text originally believed in creation, life, and this terraformation, while RS was the complete opposite, destruction, all that. By the end of the lore book, these two actually flip sides. HN and a group merge to become the Witness, and RS manages to escape, completely change their ideals from what they once believed. So that's a topic for another video, but HN in this text used the Traveler's power to terraform these worlds. They had what they called a pergola for atmospheric weaving. Pergolas often are seen in gardens and look like this. Now, this was a personal communication draft retrieved from the databank of a derelict and heavily damaged ship, likely a pyramid ship. HN arrived at this barren location, initially intended for a garden, confirming its lifeless state as perfect for their plants. HN envisioned a vibrant ecosystem filled with various flora and structures that deviate from traditional, efficient but boring methods of creating life-supporting environments. Using advanced terraforming tools from the gardener, they began their work, which would take centuries to manifest. On the next page, the ship cargo manifest lists the contents preserved in resin and stored in cold storage. This includes various plant cuttings and seeds intended for purposes ranging from panacea to soil enrichment and decorative uses. This manifest underlines the scale and ambition of a terraforming or life creation project, showcasing the variety of biological and technological resources allocated for this endeavor. Getting to the point, this was a simple star system, but the planets that the being or precursor wants to terraform, they refer to them as gardens to be, like this planet specifically. On the manifest page, we also see the name Asphodelia, stem cuttings, panacea. Asphodelia is a flower, so HN had stem cuttings of this flower to plant here. Panacea meaning a solution or remedy for all difficulties or diseases. If you know the lore, we've heard about this flower before in Destiny. Asphodelia is its name. He kneels and offers it to his sister. It grew only in the Black Garden until today. We will plant it here, in our domain, where I know it will take root and flourish. It will remind the people of our twin heritage. Aldrin Sov brought back some Asphodelia flowers from the Black Garden and gifted them to his sister. They can now be found in the Dreaming City in patrol dialogues. Some of them have lost their color, thus they appear pink instead of the bright red, and the Awoken use them to mark births and deaths. So you can see where this is going. The Black Garden and the Precursors may have had some connections. Unless this flower grew elsewhere in the universe, it's kinda weird for Bungie to bring it back up if it wasn't specifically connected somehow. Now, I believe this solar system where the terraforming effort was going down was found to have been decimated, the ship abandoned. That is, unless the ship was found somewhere else and not near the same system. So it's hard to decipher if this specific planet from the text is related to the Black Garden, or if the Precursors somehow found or were in that original garden at some point, the one mentioned in books like Unveiling and in Spiral. We talked about Unveiling again yesterday. Gardener and Winnower lived together in a garden before time, before creation. The garden was believed to be metaphorical, but it also may have existed. Eris says, "There is a second tree. Obviously, it has grown, and from it, the Guardian has taken a seed that we intend to use for study. With the tree's parent felled in the Black Garden, this may be a rarely given opportunity. I am now beginning to record its most lightly guarded secrets." In the Unveiling texts, rain fell from no sky. Voices spoke without mouth or meaning. A tree of silver wings bloomed, yielded fruit, shed feathers, bloomed again. In the day between the morning and the evening, the Gardener and the Winnower played a game of possibilities. Eris Morn believes there was a tree of silver wings in the Black Garden. Unveiling speaks of a tree of silver wings as well. Thus, Eris compares the Black Garden and the original garden to be similar. Did the Gardener and Winnower shape the universe from the Black Garden? Is that where it all started? Did the Precursors help cultivate this mysterious realm afterwards? or somehow find a link back to it? Or did this flower exist anywhere? We don't have answers, but the Black Garden has some of those strange connections. It exists outside of space and time. The gardener and winnower played their game before time began.
I hope this works. Where are we? If this is the Black Garden, it's not on any map of known space and time. I guess we just keep going? They're in some kind of stasis. There's something extremely dark down below. I think we found the Black Garden's heart.
The giant stump for a tree, maybe from a tree of silver wings. Then you have the Vex and the Witness, who also both have connections here. Witness planting the black heart, an attempted replica of the veil, and the Soul Divisive protecting it, worshipping that darkness. We know the black heart did have some effect on the Traveler, so if this is the place where Gardener and Winnower, maybe Traveler and Veil originated, that would be pretty crazy.
But what the Vex made, while connected to the Traveler, was inherently flawed. It did not create the link the Witness desired. Instead, it weakened the Traveler, created static in the flow of their cosmic forces.
Next to that, the Precursors also used glass mines to predict future outcomes, which we also talked about in previous videos. Glass mines could have been the Vex. Vex and Witness have connections, and Soul Divisive and Witness both had plans here in the Black Garden. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.